Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Brews. I am your host, Commander Claw. And I am convinced in this Aetherdrift set, they're just bringing back 90s cartoon characters. And don't tell me Aatchik Emerald Radian doesn't look like a Beetleborg. Who remembers Beetleborgs? I'm telling you, they're just repeating the same thing. I just did the frog, giant frog commander, Sapsuna, and it looks like the frog from Gullah Gullah Island. Binga binga. Like, please tell me I'm wrong. Then they had the Chandra's Planewalker on the bike that looked like the anime character Canada. Avira. So look, hit that like button. But anyways, let's get back to this commander that we're about to debut, and I'm about to bring you 5 cards that can go with different things for this commander. Let's roll. Okay. So we got Aatchik Emerald Radiant. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I feel like it sounds right. For 3, 2 black and a green, we got a 3/3 legendary Insect Druid. Okay. Insect has been getting a little bit tribal lately. I'm not sure if it's too powerful, but they're getting some support. Okay, Aatchik says when he enters or she enters, yeah, create a 1/1 green insect creature token for each artifact or creature card in your graveyard. So already right there, I want to load and litter my graveyard like it's mulch with creatures and artifacts. That's super easy in Golgari. If you never played Golgari colors, you pretty much can self-mill. And you can self-mill your entire library, and you can go bananas. If you never played Sultai with Muldrotha, yeah, this is 2/3 of it. Anyways, Aatchik says whenever another insect you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Aatchik. Each opponent loses 1 life. So already there, we got a death trigger, power boost, making our commander go tall, and we get to drain our opponent's life. I know I've seen a bunch of comments where people think this is busted and broken. I don't think so. The heavy CMC is pretty tough. I would say it's pretty tough. And it doesn't have haste, and green cards usually don't have haste. But this is kind of an aristocratic strategy for Golgari. So, yeah, I think the biggest hurdle that players need to know is how to make insect tokens. If we're not making insect tokens, we're not winning the game here. We're not even participating. So, I'm going to present you a lot of insect tokens. Creepy crawlers. I know y'all remember that. Who didn't have the little oven to make them creepy crawler gummy things? On to the next card. So we got Fumulus, the Infestation, from the Foundation Jumpstart set, which I think is a really good card in my opinion. For 3 and a black 2/2 vampire insect legendary creature, it has flying death touch. Whenever a player sacrifices a non-token creature, create a 1/1 black insect creature token with flying. All right, this is an aristocratic commander in mono black. So we're already gonna load our deck with creatures that have death triggers or ETBs. And also, this goes for all players. So your opponents are sacrificing creatures all the time. Don't get that twisted. And you can force opponents to sacrifice creatures with edicts. Don't forget that either. Anyways, whenever an insect, leech, slug, or worm you control attacks, defending player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That is for each one of those. So if you have 10 insects out on the battlefield and they go to their attack phase, uh, defending player loses 1 life and you gain life for each one. Yeah. So he can get pretty nasty. So, like, just to put this in perspective, if you have Aatchik on the battlefield and you made all those those insects, and you have Fumulus on the infestation, and you go to your attack phase, yeah, all those insects that you created, let's say 5 of them, your opponents are losing 6 life if you count Aatchik when he goes to attack also. Yeah, this is an auto include. Don't underestimate the first trigger where players are sacrificing creatures. They do that often. On to the next card. So I really think this is an underrated commander for insects because it came out in the Clue Ravnica edition, and I just don't think that set got any like notoriety at all. Like I passed over it and I was just like not interested. But I found this commander, Amzu Swarms Hunger for 3 black green, 3/3 body insect shaman. Flying menace. Pretty evasive, okay? Other insects you control have menace. Mm, mm. Don't underestimate that. It says, whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, you may create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token, then put a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the greatest mana value among those cards. Do this only once each turn. So, if you want to make good sized bugs, you can do this. And all you need is some kind of something like target removal in your graveyard, which are on Golgari enchantments all the time. Like it's not that hard to remove a card, and if it has 7 CMC on it, that means you will make a 8/8 bug. Yeah, that can get gross. Then that 8/8 bug has menace. But also, this card is good to slap on the board or on the battlefield after you created all those creature tokens from Aatchik, because all those insects have menace. Moving on to my favorite cards that I must show you. So I highly recommend Conjurer's Closet for 5. It's an artifact. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile a target creature you control, then return that creature to the battlefield under your control. So what you really want to do with this card is blink your commander. So that way you get another set of insect creature tokens. And I would almost say this is a budget version or a budget way, actually both, to create more creature tokens without purchasing a parallel lives. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this can be very explosive on the same turn that you cast Aatchik, but you already previously had this on the battlefield. So you would, on one turn, possibly create 2 times the amount of insect tokens from artifacts or creatures in your graveyard. Auto include. So you new players, I'm talking to you. Talking to you. I gotta share probably one of the most popular cards ever. It's not talked about enough, but it's talked about a lot. It's probably one of the most popular cards ever. Over here on the right hand side, we got Scoot Swarm. That name brings panic and fear across the table. Scoot Swarm, for 2 and a green, 1/1 insect. It has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If you control 6 or more lands, create a token that's a copy of Scoot Swarm instead. It doesn't sound crazy, but it is crazy because what players do is they wait until they have 6 lands to drop Scoot Swarm into play. Okay. Then they drop the extra land, so you have 7 or more lands. They're making creature token copies of Scoot Swarm. So each Scoot Swarm is making a Scoot Swarm on opponent of a Scoot Swarm. Then they got rampant growth and other what I can't think of the term now, but land tutors that drop more than 1 land into play. It gets gross. So you're just multiplying Scoot Swarm expeditiously. I promise you. Must add card. And it's pretty fun. I have one myself. I was actually shocked how fast you can make insect tokens. Next up to the left here, we got Canoptic Scarab Swarm for 4 artifact creature, insect, 1/1 flyer. It says Feeder Mandibles is his ability. Whenever Canoptic Scarab Swarm enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard. For each artifact or land card this way, create a 1/1 colorless insect artifact creature token with flying. The reason why I like this card a lot, because there's a lot of decks and there's a lot of decks that will put stuff in their graveyard and they don't have a lot of creatures, but they got a lot of lands. They got a lot of lands. They got a lot of lands. And you'll be surprised. Exiling 6 lands, getting you 6/1/1 insect to go with an Aatchik here can swarm the board. Then don't forget Conjurer's Closet, I recommended to you. So you can blink this guy and target another opponent's graveyard, creating more 1/1 colors insect artifact creature tokens with flying. So it's pretty easy to make insect creature tokens. There's going to be different ways to do it, but I think that's kind of the allure for insect tribal. Moving on to cards you may have missed. So, to the right here is Yavimaya Cradle Growth. It's a legendary land. It says each land is a forest in addition to its other types. People are going to put this in their deck just because, oh, I get to tap my swamp for green. Okay, cool. It is beneficial. I'm not going to lie. But it goes very well with Beacon of Creation. Over here on the left-hand side, for 3 and a green, it's a sorcery. Put a 1/1 green insect creature token into play for each forest you control. Shuffle Beacon of Creation to its owner's library. That is the most powerful thing about this card. Shuffling it back into your owner's library, and you can possibly draw it again. So in general, all those swamps, if you have Yavimaya on the battlefield, all those swamps are also tapped for forests, and they're considered forests. So your whole mana pool is forest. So imagine creating 7/1/1 insects for 4 mana. That is a win. That is a win. Moving on to the next card. Super excited to bring you this card on the right hand side, but I can't talk about that one first. I need to talk about Maskwood Nexus on the left for 4 mana artifact. It's on EDH Rec. And as you get to watch more of my videos, I like bringing up old cards and trying to find old cards and see where they fit in new sets. So this is that scenario. Maskwood Nexus says creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that are not on the battlefield. That includes your graveyard. Tap 3 and tap 8, create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with Changeling. Cool. So if you have other creatures, other creature token types, and you can pretty much make them into insects, you probably will need to do that. You probably can do that. I can't think of a creature type that probably popular. Probably sapperlings. Sapperlings would be a good creature type to transform into insects. However, if you want to add redundancy or reduce the mana curve of an effect, of your deck, I recommend Ashes of the Fallen for 2 mana. Since Ashes of the Fallen comes into play, choose a creature type. We're choosing insects here. Each creature card in your graveyard has a chosen type in addition to its other types. It's literally half this card, half the mana, half the ability. So, all those creature cards that you load into your graveyard are insects. And honestly, after a while, your opponent's going to know Maskwood Nexus is a must remove because they don't want to get stomped by sapperlings all of a sudden, or sapperling insects all of a sudden. Well, you can counter that by all those creature cards in your graveyard as insects, and when you cast Aatchik, they are considered insects. Yes. Moving on to the summary. So thank you for watching the video. If you liked anything about this content, go ahead and hit that notification button so you can stay up to date with all the videos that I release. Well, otherwise, Aatchik, I would say, is a pretty cool commander. Insect tribal is probably not the best, but I do like the Drain Life ability. It has a bunch of abilities all on it, honestly. So literally, you're trying to create as many insect creature tokens, have them all die to sacrifice triggers, death outlets, whatever, to drain life on all of your opponents. And don't underestimate 7 insects. Reducing 7 life is not a big move. That's a big move. That's a big move. So overall, cast this commander accordingly. You just need to litter your graveyard with artifacts and what I forgot, creatures, to create insects. So yeah, thank you for watching. Commander Claw here. Peace.